So, hello and welcome everyone. Good evening. I hope you guys are doing well. If you guys have started joining in, just a quick hi and a hello on the chat will be good, and then we can get going. So we're gonna wait for a couple of more minutes to let everybody else join in. Right. Hello and welcome everyone again. I apologize. I guess you might not be able to hear me then. Okay, so we're gonna wait for a couple of more minutes before everybody else also joins in. So meanwhile, if you have any questions from any for our previous lectures or anything else also apart from this, you can always talk. So no issues in that. We can utilize this time if you have any further questions. Hi Divyanshu, good evening. Thank you for joining in. So as again guys, we're gonna wait for a couple of more minutes to let whosoever wants to join in. Meanwhile, if you have any questions from any of the previous lecture or anything else also apart from what we have been doing till date, so that'll be good, so we can talk about that as well. So I'm monitoring my chat, so if you guys have anything, do feel free to drop in your questions so we can take them meanwhile people are joining in. So again, so what we're gonna do today, so today we're gonna start, we're gonna carry it from where we left yesterday. So we were discussing about the sorting application of Lambda, right? So today also we're gonna do a couple of more questions, and then as I said, I'm gonna ask more questions towards the filter and the map function as well as reduce. So we did something over that area as well. So we're gonna take at least some questions that area, and then as time permits, we're gonna move towards apply. Okay, so apply again, it's very good function which is there in Python, and we use it on top of Lambda as well to, in some of the odd cases, to fasten our computation. So we do that. So we'll see how it works. But again, in the meanwhile, we are waiting for others to join in. So if you have any questions, right, any questions which you want to talk about, or anything from the previous lecture, or anything else apart from this, also we can always talk. Right, so let's utilize this time, guys. If you have anything, so I'll be happy to take your questions. We're gonna wait for max one more minute. And I hope you guys are at least doing something back at home. So at least you have installed Python as an IDE, right? So anything is fine, anything. Yes, you can use Jupyter Notebook, PyCharm, Spider, whatever you feel like, or wherever you are comfortable, you can use any IDE that should work. But the objective is, like, if you're learning something here, at least try doing it in your place. So because Python is all towards practicing, right? So it's not a conceptual study kind of thing. It's not a conceptual study of a subject. So it's more of practicing. Like more you practice, more comfortable, more fluent you will be in that, right? So that's something which I would request you guys. So take this the lectures as one of your the interest points where you are getting the keywords, and then once you're back home, once you're available, whenever you have time. I understand that some of you are working and some of you are studying. So whenever you have time, always try to practice as much as you can. Okay, so that will help you. Cool. So let's start. We can let everybody else also join in meanwhile, so we can start. Cool. So as you know, guys, my name is Arpit Jain, and I'm a senior data scientist myself. I have been into industry for more than 8 years now. So I have seen data science industry evolved. So and the tool and the techniques which were used earlier, and now we have moved towards Python. So earlier Python was, to be honest, was not that prominent, and earlier we had other tools. So we were using R like 5 years back, and then eventually we realized that the flexibility of Python is really great, and the plugins and when you want to do a production wise deployment, right? So you need to have multiple architectures. So that's where actually Python helps a lot to the developers. and that's where I've seen the industry move towards Python. So I won't say Python is the end. I mean, even for 5 years back, R was not the end, right? So yeah, things evolve, right? So I mean, yes, at least for next 5-10 years, not 10 years, at least 5 years, I could see Python going really great, and we have a lot of things to still explore in Python, right? Nobody's perfect, but again, definitely Python is one thing which we're going to talk about during the course of our subject, and at least for next 5 to 8 years, you are pretty much in the safe hand if you're good in Python. Right. So, but again, I'm a motivation speaker myself. So I take career sessions. I talk to people regarding their career objectives, and I do inspire them on that. So if you have any questions regarding your career, if you have any doubts, you can always talk to me on that front as well. Subjects, as I've told you, so Python and PySpark, that's gonna be our base. So that's what we have started. We got a feedback yesterday to incorporate SQL. That's a very well taken one. So I have already discussed that. So we can definitely include this. But yes, so we have to understand, we have to figure out how we can do that, but definitely SQL will be the third subject which I'm going to add to my slides. So yes, Python, PySpark and SQL, that's what we're going to do. But again, let's start it one by one, right? So at least we're going to spend some time on Python. So we have started with functions. We did on Lambda functions, and then on the weekends we were doing something on data science, so that more towards pandas and stuff. So yeah, so we're gonna do something on SQL as well as time comes. But again, we're gonna cover PySpark as well. So that is a big data component of Python. On distributed computation, we're gonna talk about that as well. Cool. So you have a code right there in front of you on the screen, which is Python 10. So if you want to have an Unacademy Pro subscription, you can get a 10% off with this code. Okay, Python 10 is the code right here on the screen. So now the question is, why exactly you need this subscription, right? So as always, guys, time for a quick promotion. So we're gonna do that. Cool. So basically this is for the people who wants to become a software developer or have just become a software developer, right? So Unacademy has actually brought you a platform where you can see some of the shows live, where you can watch some of these shows live, right? And what are those shows coming up? So there are a few, like the hiring updates from the big tech companies and the startups as well, right? So you're gonna have an updates from these companies about the eligibility criteria, about the hiring process and all that stuff, right? So this gives you a good platform to prepare yourself, right? To understand where you lack and what could be the right things to focus on, right? And where exactly you are rightly fitting in the industry. So those are some important pointers which will be covered here, and you will not be in the gray area. So you'll be having your questions answered, like what companies to prefer, what not, and do's and the don'ts. So all that stuff. The next is how to approach Code Chef. Right? So Code Chef again is a bigger challenge. So people are facing. So the do's and the don'ts, you should be knowing that as well for the Code Chef. So yes, there'll be show talking about your approach, your steps towards Code Chef. So that's again a very good thing. Then the next is the pre-placement talks. Pre-placement talks as in from the big companies, so where the HRs from these companies come and they talk about their hiring process, right? So again, the hiring process, I think, which includes your eligibility criteria or your questions, and what sort of people, what sort of employees they are looking for, right? So all those right questions regarding your placement. So that's where again the pre-placement talks comes into picture, where actually these HRs from these companies, representative of these companies, so they talk. And you'll get a very fair understanding where exactly you're planning to go, and is it the right company, you should look for something else. So all those questions before before the placements, you have these questions, right? So you can get these answered. So again, that's I would say a good thing. On top of this, also you have the most frequently top 20 questions which are being asked, right? So generally we know that there are some set of questions which are generalized and most frequently asked, right? But again, if you know these questions, it's always good to have the pointers ready to talk. It should not be like a paragraph of an answer prepared and you have mugged up and then you're going ahead and telling a story to them, right? No, it should not be like that. At least, based on your profile, you should be having the pointers ready. So you can frame up your sentences while you talk, but again, at least have the pointers with you. It will help you to build up your sentences, right? So that's again, I believe it's very good. So you can get your tailor-made answers according to your profile. So for me, if I'm XYZ person, right? So for me, the pointers would be different. For the other person, ABC would be different, right? So two persons cannot have the same answers, cannot have the same profile, right? They are two different entities. So likewise, if you want to apply for the job and then you know what kind of questions are generalized, right? So you can have your tailor-made responses directly from these mentors, so you can have those responses ready. right? And then you also have the life problem solving. So life problem solving, where exactly you'll be doing a real life project. Okay, so and then along with you there'll be a mentor working. So I mean, it's not going to be a solo thing which you're going to work alone. Yes, so there'll be a mentor support for you. So if you want to do some projects online, right? So during the life problem solving itself, so if you're getting stuck, so you'll be getting an option to talk to these people, so you can get your doubts cleared, your queries answered, so you're not stuck, so you'll be progressing, right? So that's again, and definitely I believe that if you are, when you learn something online, right? So that sometimes it becomes very monotonous and difficult to understand, right? But if you have somebody to talk to, somebody to get your queries answered, right? So that's where the game changes. So that's again, I believe it's a good plus. And then you have the life journey from the fellow coders from the big companies also. The big companies, where I mean the Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google. So we know them as FANG companies, right? So these companies, the fellow coders, you have an option to talk to the people. So talk to the coders directly from these companies, right? And you can understand what kind of things which they have done have led them enter these companies, and what you should be doing to allow yourself to be part of these organizations, right? So vice versa is true. So you can always talk to these people and get the queries answered. Like if you're really aiming high and looking for these top companies, so I mean, this will be your way to go ahead. Yes, on top of this, you'll also be having the support of online mentors. So online mentors will be taking your online mock interviews, and as you guys know, why mock interviews are important. So it's before your pre-placement. It's like before your placement, you can get an option to have an actual interview done. So that's something which is called as mock interview, and for this you'll be getting a feedback as well, which is a very genuine feedback. Right, so I mean, sometimes you feel that you're always ready and you have done almost everything right, and there is nothing which can stop you from getting a job, right? But still, the job does not click. So sometimes you still do not get a job, right? So there are few things which definitely you might have missed and which you don't have realized yet, so which is missing in you. So I believe there's a place which you can look forward to that, right? And again, for all of this, you have to just pay $9.99 a year for the subscription, guys. The code right in front of you, which is Python 10, you can get it for 10% off for $8.99. Cool. So and again, this is a very good live show which is going every Friday night at 10 p.m. right, and which has been taken care by Mr. Raj Vikramaditya. You know him by the name Striver. So he's taking care of the college projects reviews, right? So what exactly this is? So this is like if you want your college project, right? So to tick all the right boxes, and you want to land yourself somewhere in a good internship or a good job, so this is a place for you guys, right? So if you want, I mean, if you're unsure that what projects to go for, and if you're stuck somewhere, if you have any queries, and if you still want to change your subject itself of the college project, and some other suggestion if you want, right? This is a place for you. This is a very good opportunity. I would say a golden opportunity where you can get your college projects reviewed. Again, it's a part of my developer subscription every Friday night at 10 p.m. Then this, so we have an official Telegram group, so you can join this. The link would be there in the YouTube description, I guess. So you can join this official channel. You will be having all the live updates right in front of you, so you don't have to run here and there. You can just get the live updates from this group at single place. Cool. Like, share, subscribe, download, bell icon. You can know this. Right, so just a quick recap. I won't take more than a minute here. So till now we have discussed in Python towards functions and Lambda functions, right? So they both are equally identical, right? So they both do the same job, but the difference is Lambda is more of an inline anonymous function where I do not explicitly define the name of the function, right? I can call it wherever I need it ad hoc. And then there is a difference, like, because ultimately function is also doing the similar work and Lambda is also doing the similar work. So what is the difference, right? So there are, I mean, in the different ways, computationally, yes, Lambda is comparatively faster. When the, I mean, you won't see it in a smaller dataset, but you will see the difference in the bigger datasets, because it does. I mean, when I say about apply function, right? So it's one of the alternative towards your for loop, right? So this apply Lambda is alternative towards your for loop. It actually really increases your computational speed by, I would say, 5 times at least, right? So that's a very, very good code. But again, when to use and when not to use, this. So Lambda are more suitable towards a single computational codes where you can execute your entire code in a single line. Okay, so if you can do that, so that's Lambda is your go. So I mean, basically, if your logical expressions are simpler, right? So that's where Lambda fits in. And but if it's a complex operation, then yes, you have to go for the standard functions creation. Cool. And then we have been talking about a lot of applications of Lambda operations. So Lambda functions. So we discuss about filter. We discuss about map, reduce, and then we discuss about sorting, right? And then in sorting, we told that we'll be moving towards our apply, right? So we have these all things which we discussed. So filter, map, reduce, sorting, and apply. So till now we have finished filter, map, and reduce. We were doing things on sorting, so we're gonna start from sorting today, and then let's see how it goes. Cool. So I hope everybody is with me. Hi Sagar, thank you for joining in. Right, so I believe we did till here, right? So we did multi-valued alphanumeric iteration. So we discussed about first alphanumeric one. So you remember these guys, right? So we discussed about finding out the right information from my the key, which is my alphanumeric key. So we did something here, the question number 3. I believe you guys understood the logic here, and somebody asked a question also, we solved that. And then the multi-valued alphanumeric, so taking on the 2 keys, right? So first is my alphanumeric value, and then the integer value itself, right? And then we know how to take it with the parenthesis. So multiple arguments can be passed here with a comma separated value. Cool, no questions here, right? So now today we're gonna start with the sorting operations on dictionary. Okay, so till now we have been doing things on what, list, collections, right? So possibly towards your list or tuples, I would say, right? But now here we're gonna talk about dictionary. Okay, so here overall it's a list only, but in this list I don't have a collection of a tuple, but I have a collection of a dictionary here. And dictionary, you know this, right? So we have a dictionary where the key value pairs are there, right? So and the key, I have name and age, and the values you're already seeing it. Cool. So now let's try to do this. So now here the objective is we want to sort the data. So you can see the information here. So let's see how the list looks like. So I have my list here, right? You can see, so this is my list, this is my collection of my dictionaries. So in this dictionary I have 2 keys, name and the age, right? And now my objective here is to sort the data based on the age value. Okay, so look at this. So I want to sort this, for example, based on the age. So age is nothing but my number. So my key here is age, and my value here is 30. Right. So likewise, I have multiple values here, multiple collections. So we have multiple values for age, 20, 28, 30, 28, and like that. Right. So now what if I want to sort this list where I have a collection of dictionaries based on age, right? So you already know this because again here it's a bit of a complex list. So we don't have the keys specific here. So keys is not explicit. So we want to, we'll be giving the key here, right? So we'll be giving the key in form of a lambda. Right, you know this. So now I'll give you a quick 30 seconds and I want you to try this, right? So just look at this. I have, instead of tuple, I have a dictionary here, and dictionary has 2 keys, name and age. Now I want to sort this overall list based on my key age. Okay, so just take a quick 30 seconds guys and try to solve this. So again, I believe it's not going to be very tricky, so you've already done this before. Just take 30 seconds and give me a response here in the chat. So if you can really try this. It all depends on how you access a dictionary. You will get this. Quickly guys, if you're there with me, just a quick guess. So we're going to use again the sorted function. So here the question is, I'm going to use the sorted function, right? And this sorted, I'm going to pass my list, which is my list here, and then the key. So my question is, what would be my key here? Okay, this is your question. So you want to pass your key, right? So and then in this key you want to access the age. This is gonna be your key. Quickly guys, so what you think would be my key here? Okay, so let me solve this one for you. Okay, so now let's try to access this. Okay, let's try to take this one single dictionary separately and try to see this. So I have this one here. Okay, So now if I want to access the value 30, okay, so like the way, because this is what I want in the key, right? I want to access this value 30. How can I access it? So let's try this. So in the list, I have something called as the indexing, right? So I can give 0, 1, 2, 3 based on my index value. So technically, if I consider it as a normal collection, like a list or a tuple, then in that case, it's a comma here. So this should be my element 1 and this should be my element 2. So technically, yes, I mean, that makes sense if it's a list or a tuple. So let's try this if it works. So technically, I want this age or 30, right? So let's try what a of 1 will return. You got this? So the important thing to note is we cannot access the dictionary based on the index values, okay? Because there is here the indexes are different. Here my identifiers are different. So in the list you can access, because every element is an individual entity here, so that can be accessed through an index. The index value is not defined, so the by default indexing is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So that's how you're accessing it in the list. But in dictionary, so my identifier is my keys here, okay? So you can say this, my first key is name, my second key is age, okay? So if I have to access age, I have to actually write the key name here, which is age. Cool. So then you will get the value 30. So that's the difference in dictionary, okay? So now that's the same concept we're going to use here, okay? So now if you want to access age from the entire collection of my dictionaries, what do you think it should be? Right, so it should be like, I mean, lambda is by default, and then let's say x, and then it's gonna be x of age. I cannot write x of 0 because, or x of 1, because I cannot access dictionary based on the index values, right? Any questions, guys, on this? Cool. If I do this, if I write x of age, you can see it's quite clear. So it has sorted my dictionary based on the age values. You can see this? Right? So all of my values are actually getting sorted by default in a lower to higher value. So again, if you want the highest first, you can just add the keyword here, reverse, and that's gonna be true. And yeah, voila. So you have the highest one on the top, and then you have everything here. Cool. I think that's again gonna be simple. Now again, the question is, if you guys have just noticed, or I'm gonna remove this. Okay, if you have just noticed. So I have 3 values where the age is 28, right? So and that's like Manish, Anuj, and Shreya, right? I mean, technically, if I want to arrange the entire data set likewise, so I would want them to be also aligned based on alphabetical order, right? So I would want Anuj to be here on top of Manish and then Shreya, right? So because these are alphabetically not corrected. So now what to do in that case? So in this case, I would be needing 2 keys, right? So I would need both age and name to be part of my keys. So again, guys, a quick question to you. Now my question is, I want to align the data, I want to sort the data, giving both the indexes, name and age, where I want to give the priority to age first. Okay, so first the sorting has to be done based on age, and then if the ages are clashing, then it has to take towards the name. Cool. Question clear, guys? Just again take quick 30 seconds if you want to try this. So we're gonna do multi-index sorting here. We have already done this yesterday, guys, so just a quick recap. Quick 30 seconds, guys, and if you want to really attempt this. Again, I think I'm seeing a lag of almost 15 seconds. So if you see me mute for some time, so don't get confused, I'm still here. Okay, so there's again a network lag of around 15 seconds. Divyanshu, Sagar, if we have Abhishek also online, if we have or others online, so you want to try this, guys. Okay, so if you, still okay, so if you can try it later also. So yes, so as I said, we can pass multiple indexes also, right? So multiple indexes, how? So we're gonna pass it separated by commas, and then at the end we're gonna club it into a parenthesis. So here my second index would be name, as you know this. So then name. So priorities I'm giving to age. So the first sorting has to be done based on age. Then the values are clashing. Then the name would be considered. So and then I'm passing it on top of my parenthesis, and then let's see. Voila. You can see this. You have Anuj on the top here, and then Manish, and then Shreya. So sorting is again based on my numbers, but again internally also, once the age has the common numbers, it will then take the second index, which is my name, right? Cool. So I'm not going to spend much time here. Last question for you guys on sorting. This is again a very, very good question. A very good question. Okay, so I have a nested list here. Okay. Again, just look at the question very carefully, guys. So we have a nested list here. So in this nested list, I can see this. In the exterior one, and I have a multiple collection of my list. So in this list, I have multiple elements also, right? So the first list inside my outer list is having 3 elements. Okay, and the second list is having 2 elements, and the third list is having 4 elements, right? So the number of elements are also different. Okay, so there's a bit complexity here. So I have a outer list, which is my main list, and in that main list I have 3 elements. 3 elements are again are individually list, and these have different number of elements. Okay. Now my question is, I want to sort the data alphabetically individually on each of these lists. So what I want the output to be, here I want the sorting to be done alphabetically. So apple would come first, banana would come second, and orange would come first, because A, B and O, like it is, right? And now here in the second one, I want Arpit to come first and then Rohit to come second. Likewise, in the last one, antelope will be first, and then likewise based on your alphabetical order, right? Is the question clear, guys? So I want to sort the data individually, alphabetically inside each of my lists. Okay. Anybody wants to try this? Just a quick try, guys. It's okay even if you're long. So we're gonna solve this. Okay. So we're gonna solve it by breaking the question one by one. Okay. So we're gonna do that. Don't worry. But again, I would want you to guys try this at least once. Again, take 30 seconds or 45 seconds. This will take a minute. So again, if you guys still want to have some time before I get into this and solve this, take a quick 30 seconds or 45 seconds to at least try something. Hey Manan, thank you for joining in. Hello. Okay, so I work for Ericsson. I am a senior data scientist with Ericsson. Again, guys, if you really want to try this, please go ahead, take a quick 30-45 seconds, at least do something. So if you won't try this, you will never learn this. I mean, you will still be waiting for me to answer it. They're not going to help, right? So at least try something. I mean, yeah, because there are multiple lists, you will be going inside each of the lists. There'll be some looping involved, right? And that in that nested one, I have to sort it inside that nested one, right? So a lot of things are involved here. So that's a very good question to actually test a lot of concepts. Okay. So at least try something, guys. So again, I'm going to give you your 30 seconds if you really want to try this. Anyone? Okay, I don't know why the class is so silent today. Okay, anyway, so let me try this. No problem at all. So let me try this. Cool. So I'll break this question into multiple parts, okay, and I'll try to solve it. So if you have any questions anywhere, do feel free to stop me, okay? So okay, so Monu says we will sort the outer list by length. Not really. So the question is not towards my length, Monu. So the question is, I want to sort the inner content of my data irrespective of the lengths based on the alphabetical order. Okay, so that's the question. So I am not talking about the lengths here. So lengths could be anything, because that is the reason why I kept it. So I don't want, I mean, the 2 elements would become first. That's not the question. The question is, I want to sort the data internally, I mean, individually on my of the list. Right, so I have one answer here. So Tanushri says sorted on my nested list, then the lambda of the values x of I. Okay, cool. Yep, fair enough. That makes sense. Right, and yes, absolutely. So now the question is to find that nested list. So nested list, I mean, if you just give nested list as it is, right, it'll not work, because I'm not solving list wise. So here, if I simply apply sort here, right, so it'll sort the data taking this as first element, this as second element, and definitely this as the third element. So if you use directly this way of sorting, Tanushri. But the question is, I want to sort individually in the list itself, right? So I want to sort the inner list first. So I want to sort this as a separate entity, this as a separate entity, and the last one as a separate entity. Okay, so you cannot write directly here, because if you do a sorting here, it will take entirely as a one list. So this, the outer list will be sorted, the inner list won't be sorted. You got it? So so the answer which you have just given, Tanushri, that will actually not work here. Okay, so meanwhile others are trying, so let me jump into the answer here. Okay, so I mean, let's try to solve this. So definitely, see, if I have to sort the inner list, right, so I have to sort this inner list first. So I'm talking about the sorting of my list contents itself, right? So here then I have to actually reach to this list first, right? So technically, if I have a list here, right, so if I do like this, so nested and then list, and then if I pass 0, right, so I get this content, right? So now I want to sort. So if I do this sorted on nested list of 0, right, and then if I give key as lambda x, and then x of say 0 as my first content, right? So that's how it will work. Cool. So that's how it is, right? So, and let's take one, so it'll be more clear. You can see this. So I have taken nested list 1, so which is this list, inner list of my outer list, right? And then I'm gonna pass the x of 0, which is based on my first content, right? So basically my alphabetical order. So now you can see this inner list has been sorted now. So Arpit has come first, Rohit has come second, right? You can see this. Now the question is, I want to run it in the entire outer list itself, right? So I cannot pass it one by one, correct? So technically, so what are we inferring from this? Definitely a loop is required, right? A loop to run it one by one, right? So let's do that. So how can I access the my contents of my loop? I can just do this, right? So for say I in nested list, right? And then if I print I, what do you see? You can see these elements individually, right? So basically now I'm able to access these lists individually. So that's how my the list would be working here. Is this point clear, guys? Right? So this is what I'm going to do here, right? And then suppose I have and then what? So on top of this, I want to actually access the elements of this. So I have to go inside this list as well, right? So now what can I can write, then I have to write in this case the second loop. So then it will be like for j in nested list of I, right? So now this is my list, this is my inner list. So nested list of I, this is where I'm accessing these elements. Is this point clear, guys? So now I'm inside this particular element for my first loop, and then I'll be under this element for my second loop, and then this would for my third loop, right? So likewise I'm accessing the elements of individual list, right? And then on this I want to do the sorted function of the nested list of I, right? And then I'm gonna write the key here, my lambda x of 0, right? Technically yes, this should work. Let's see this. What went wrong, guys? Any idea what went wrong here? If you can answer me this, I'll be really happy. Any idea what went wrong here? Just a quick question, guys. Take again, just look at this indexes what I'm trying to do here, and you have your nested list right in front of you, and you have an error also right in front of you. Just take a quick guess what just went wrong. Exactly. So what I did, I looped it over my nested list of I. That is actually wrong. So I want to loop it over the range, number of times, right? And how can I get the number of times? So basically my values here, so that is coming through my range, and the range, what my value is. So I'm going to talk about the length of my value. Now what is my length of nested I, which is my number of elements 3. So this is the number of times I'm gonna specify my list to be working. Clear, guys? I think Monu has answered this. I'm really sorry, Monu, I just noticed this. Yes, absolutely correct. We're gonna use range of length of my nested I to actually get this data sorted. Cool. Now let's run this. Okay, what went wrong? Okay. So list indices must be indices, not list. Okay. Oh, this is absolutely correct. Okay, my bad. I think I did not put here also. So it should be length of my nested list. My bad. Sorry. Cool. Now I have the sorted list here. Okay. Now what just happened here? So now I'm sorting the list. Okay. But the thing is, I'm running it in the loop, right? Now I would definitely have to store it, because this sorted is a 1-point view. But I'm going it over it loop one by one again and again, right? So I have to store it every time, and then I have to see the result at the end combined, right? So for this, the important thing is, so every time it's a new list. So for this, I would be first defining a sorted list here, which is my, say this. Okay. And now this is my sorted. So, and then I'm going to save it to ABC here. Okay. And then on this, I'm going to append, sorted list, append, and then I'm going to do ABC. Any questions on this point, guys? So what I'm doing is, so for every time whenever I'm sorting on individual elements which I'm accessing through my list, I'm storing into my some temporary variable. So I'll do some ABC or temporary variable, and then on this I'm appending to my original empty list which I've defined earlier. So every time we will be adding individual elements here, right? Any questions? Right, now let's see this. So if I print the sorted list, can you see this, guys? So earlier it was empty. Now for every loop, I'm actually adding my sorted individual contents of my list, right? This is again a very, very handy question to understand. First of all, two things: how to run your multiple loops on the individual elements, and then sorting on top of that. So you're doing two things here, right? So the concept of multiple looping plus your sorting. Any questions, guys? This is an important question, and this is actually a key question to. Okay, I guess I had some network issue. I'm really sorry. Cool. If that is good, then we have few more questions to take from filter, map, and apply. Okay, or filter, map, and reduce. Okay. So, okay, quick question, guys. So now again, you have a list in front of you. Okay, so this is the same list which we were taking yesterday. Okay, so we have the alphanumeric value index 1, 100, 2, 22, 3, and 30. Okay. So now you have a first question right in front of you. So we're going to talk about these later. So you have first questions right there in front of your screen. Okay. So now here, what I want the square. I want a list which has the square of the numeric values present in the input here. Okay. So here my values are index 100, 2, 22, 3 and 30, right? So first of all, I want to extract this number 1. Okay, so I want to extract this number 1, and now based on this number 1, I want the square of it. So the list would be having 1, then 100 ka square, then 2 ka square, 22 ka square, 3 ka square, and then 30 ka square. Okay, so I'm making a list. I'm first of all extracting the numbers, and then on that extracted numbers, I'm doing the square of it. Okay, so that's the expectation. Just a quick question, guys. What function will you be using here? Map, filter, or reduce? Is the question clear? Guys, this is a really good question. So this is again from the concepts which we've already covered. So map, filter, and reduce. A quick question: what exactly function will be using here? Map, reduce, or filter? I want to extract the elements here, the numbers from the alphanumeric, and then I want to do a squaring of these numbers. Okay, let's try to do this. Okay, so now what if I have to extract the number 1? You already know this, right? So basically it's x of 5 and then colon, right? And now I want a list where all the values are represented. So basically what I'm looking for is the number of elements from my original list and the number of elements from my outer list. The output is gonna be the same, right? So here I have 6 elements in my input, and I want the output to have again the 6 elements, right? So let's read this. So definitely, if the number of elements remain the same, so basically you're transforming your input collection, right? So that's where map comes into picture. It's not filter, that's where map comes into picture. So let's try to do this. So map, cool. Now in this map, what you're gonna do, you're gonna write your function, right? So that's where your first function will come. So function is what? I want lambda of x, and I want the element from 5 till the end, right? This is what I want, and I'm gonna pass my list here, right? And let's see this as a list. What we have? Cool, guys. So we have the so we have what? We have strings. We don't have integers here. So quickly we're gonna pass the values here. So it's gonna be int of my values. So I have 1, 100, 2, 22, 3 and 30. So I have this. Any questions here, guys? So we have first part done. So we have this list here, right? Now the second part is, on this list I want the square of these numbers, right? So I want another mapping. So I want another mutation of this list, and I want this list to be mutated to the square of their values, right? So this is what I want. So definitely, so this is what my list is. So I'm gonna write another map function. So in this map function, I have this value as my list. So this is what I want to pass. And in the function, what I want? In the function, I want lambda of x, and I want x ka square. So x cross x. Any questions, guys, in this? And now again, I can see this on top of my list. Do you think it should work? Any issues here, right? Any issue, guys, here? So what I'm doing here is, I'm doing multiple mapping on top of it. So first, my objective was to identify the numbers from the alphanumeric values. So that's what I did here in this map, right? So I converted the data into a list, which is the values of my alphanumeric numbers. So the numeric content from my alphanumeric data, right? So any questions here? It's pretty clear from this mapping, right? So now this is my updated list. So now this list has to be mapped to get the square of my values, right? So I have my values here 100 and all that. So now I'm passing this again as a parameter, as an argument to my second map, which I've written here. So, and followed by a comma. So this is my input to my second map. And what I want in this list is x cross x, so just the square of my numbers, right? I can do this. Let's see. Absolutely. So you have your answer in front of you, right? Any questions in this, guys? So we have just did a complex computation here. So objective, there are two objectives here. First, to extract the numeric content from my alphanumeric value, so which we have done here by doing this, and I think we already covered this yesterday. And now from this extracted numeric content, I'm going to square the values, right? So I'm squaring it again. So this will be my past list as an argument, and then on top of this I'm doing what? Again, a map function which is x cross x, and then I'm viewing it as a list. Any questions here, guys? Any questions? I can give you 30 seconds to digest this, so we can move to the next question. If you have anything to talk about this, if it is clear, just a yes, or if you're confused, if you still have any questions, just drop in your question here, so I'll be more than happy to take it. Always remember when to use map, filter, and when to use reduce. Okay, and always a suggestion is, don't try to write everything from end, right? So I mean, build your, kind of distribute your entire question into smaller chunks. Okay, so here what I did, I first built the inner loop, mapping condition, right? So first I extracted the value 100, the value numeric from my overall alphanumeric value, and then on top of this I mapped my squaring, right? So try to bifurcate your question into individual smaller chunks, so that will make your job easier. Okay, cool. So if you're okay, so we have next question, so right in front of you. So I have my data, so I have my this list now. Okay, so now my question is, on the same list, so which I have from question 1, I want the data, I want the elements where the values are lesser than 100. Is the question clear? So from the output of the question 1, now I want another list where the elements of that list are lesser than 100. Okay, again a quick question to you guys, what function you will use here, map, filter, or reduce? I'll give you 30 seconds to respond. So if you have anything if you want to try this, please drop in your text. As always, again, I'm seeing almost 15 seconds of lag. So if you see me mute for some time, so don't get confused. Guys, quickly, filter, map, or reduce. What function to choose when I want to have the values, the elements in the list where the values is lesser than 100, right? So now I want to reduce the number of elements in my output, right? So yeah, you already know this. So if we want to reduce, so if I'm foreseeing that the number of elements is reducing in my output compared to my input collection, then definitely it's filter. Okay. So we have to use filter when the number of elements are expected to reduce. Okay. So now, so I have this list right in front of me, right? So now the second question is what? Second question is, I want the data where I want the elements from the output of question 1 where value is less than 100, right? So now in this case, I'm seeing this entire list what I have just populated. So this is my list, right? So this is my output. So I have two map functions here, right? It's fine to have multiple map or multiple filters. So now this is my output. So now the question is, I want to add a filter function on top of my this multi-map function. Okay, let's do this. So now what is the syntax of filter? So filter, then I have a function here. So I have function here. So the first argument is my function, and then the second argument is my list. This is my this is my syntax, right? So I'll do this. So I'll write filter here. Okay, so now I don't know the function yet, so let's talk about function later. So I know the list, right? So this is my entire list. Cool. So let's write it here. This is my list, and it is separated by a comma. Okay, so this is my entire list. I have passed it here. That's fine, right? And now the function. Function is what? Function is simple. Function is like I want to add lambda. So lambda is where my value is less than 100. So x is less than 100. And then for this x, I'm passing a list. So this list has these many elements. Cool, guys. Let's run this. So now here it's again a bit tricky. So I'm adding filter on top of two maps. Okay. So I have two individual inner maps here. So on two individual inner maps, I'm writing a filter function here. Okay. Again, a bit more of a complex thing. Let's see this. Okay, my bad. So let's see this. Let's add a list on top of my entire collection object. So I'm gonna view this as a list. Here you go. Right. So now from this output, which is the square of my numbers from my alphanumeric data, I have filtered out the values where the elements are lesser than 100. Okay. Any questions, guys? Any questions? So bit of a tricky thing here. So we first wrote two map functions, and then on top of two map functions, I wrote a filter function where I have done what I wanted to do. Right? Any questions? Any questions, guys? Is it too difficult to digest, or because I tried to break it into pieces so that you can understand this. So again, if you have a complex questions like this, right? So always try to break it into the smaller chunks. Okay, so always try to break into the smaller chunks. It'll become more easier for you to understand, right? Because ultimately, if you see this bigger code, right? List of filter of lambda of x, and then list of map of lambda, and then list of map of it's too confusing. For me also, it's too confusing some of the times, right? But let's try to read it from inside out. Okay, so the Python codes are always like inside out. So don't read from outside. I mean, if you start reading from line by line from outside, right, it'll become very trickier. When you have multiple functions involved, right? So always try to read it from inside out. So always try to read what's happening inside first. Okay, so that's a better way of understanding the codes. Okay, any questions, guys? I'm still giving you one more minute. If you have any questions, feel free to ask that so we can take it. Right, I mean, we can take one more question on this. Now, what if I have the elements here 1, 4 and 9. Okay, so I have my elements here 1, 4 and 9. Now what if I want to do the mean of these numbers? Okay, I want the mean of the numbers where the values of the square of my integers from the alphanumeric data is less than 100. So that's the question, right? So the question is mean of square of all elements of all numeric elements from alphanumeric data where the value is less than 100. So now what I'm saying is, again, we can add one more functionality on top of it, right? So what I'm saying is, now I have identified the integer values from my alphanumeric data, right? So what I did, I first did a square, right? On this square, I filter out the values where the squared value is less than 100. Now where the squared value is less than 100 on this entire list, I want the mean of this. I can do this, right? It's easy. So for me, again, this time this entire thing will become the list. Okay. And since we know the mean is a single value output, right? So for the single value output, so we always use reduce. So and then reduce is not by default available, so we import func tools for that. So import func tools as f, for example, and then f dot reduce, and then your say mean is again not directly available, so you can write your user defined function for mean, or you can use what you can use np dot mean. So you have in numpy also you have mean, so you can use this as your function, right? And then again by separated by comma, you can use this entire list. Any questions here, guys? Any questions? Right, so I'm not doing this. I would request you guys to solve it at home. So if you can try this, okay, so let's just take it as an input again. So the question is again to find the mean of the selected filters from question 2. That's the question. Okay, if you can guys and solve this, it's fair enough, right? So let's try to solve this. It's again easy again, but again I'm doing the third operation on top of my filter, which is again on top of my two map functions. Okay, so we are adding a lot of functionalities in a single code, in a single line of code. So now you can see this. So everything is happening in a single line of code, right? So I'm not using multiple lines. So all the entire computation is actually happening on a single line itself. I'm not doing any multiple lines of code here. All right. Cool, guys. So with this, we're gonna stop for the day. So the question for you is like, if you want to try this at home, so I'm not giving you the answer for this right now. So the question is, you want to reduce, you want to have the mean of the values from the second question. So second question is having three values, 1, 4, and 9, right? So on top of this, you want the mean of these values, right? So let's I would request you to guys to try it at home. Okay. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me tomorrow in tomorrow's class. We'll do that. And then from tomorrow onwards, we're gonna jump to apply. Okay, so again we have good questions on apply, so we're gonna solve that. Right. So any questions, guys, before we wrap up? So I'm gonna give you again 3, 4, 5 minutes. I mean, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But again, so people have been silent today, so it's okay. So again, I can still wait for a couple of more minutes. If you have any questions, anything which you want to talk, right, I'm happy to take that in. So we can always talk. And yes, so again the question would still stand, so please try to do it at home. So please try to add the functionality of reduce on top of your multiple filter and map which we have already done. Okay, so that's gonna be your question. Cool. So anything, guys, any questions, anything which you want to talk about, anything from the lecture or anything else as well, it's fine. Okay, so if you don't have anything, guys, thank you so much for joining in. So we talked about sorting today, and we finished the ad hoc questions on filter, map, and reduce. So we did multi-level filter, map, and reduce today, right? So bit tricky, but again, it's not very tricky. It's just like if you're able to break it into the smaller pieces, right, you'll be able to understand that. I mean, the Python codes are anyway not very tricky. It's more of a lingual language, as I've already said, right? So it's become very easier at some point of time to understand the code, right? Again, if you have any questions, if you feel like it's too engrossed, always drop in your text. I am all ears for the feedback as well, right? As I've always said that. Again, so I'm gonna give your evening back. So since we don't have any questions, so let's join tomorrow at the same time, 7 p.m. So we're gonna talk about apply function tomorrow. So apply on Lambda. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Stay safe and